Did Alexander Scriabin have synesthesia? This video will discuss why he probably did not have synesthesia as it's defined today, and discuss what he might have had instead that made him obsessed with the relationship between color and music. I'm JayBeard, and I make videos about Scriabin and other topics related to music theory. Check out my website to see the courses and lessons that I offer, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into all this at the whiteboard. In Scriabin's time in the early 1900s, the term synesthesia was used loosely for anyone associating color with sound. However, today we have a scientific understanding of synesthesia which we can define as the stimulation of one of the five senses producing an involuntary response in another sense. There are many types of synesthesia involving different senses, such as auditory tactile synesthesia, where people feel certain sensations when they hear sounds, but in this video we're concerned with chromesthesia, where sound involuntarily evokes an experience of color. People with this form of synesthesia describe seeing clouds or fireworks of color when they hear music. Several famous musicians have claimed to have synesthesia, such as Duke Ellington, Stevie Wonder, and Billy Joel. The key word in the modern definition of synesthesia is the term involuntary. People with true synesthesia have an interlacing of nerve fibers that causes sensory input in one sense to cross over to another sense. The reason it seems Scriabin didn't have this form of synesthesia is that Scriabin didn't report having synesthesia till he was 35, while true synesthetes experience it from birth. He also claimed older works such as Beethoven's symphonies lacked sufficient changes in tonality and were too intellectual in character to produce colors. This suggests Scriabin didn't have involuntary synesthesia, but rather that he drew associations between sound and color that often produce the perception of color, a phenomenon called ideasthesia. Ideasthesia is a phenomenon where concepts evoke sensory-like experiences. While synesthesia presumes that both the trigger and the resulting experience are of sensory nature, ideasthesia presumes that only the resulting experience is of sensory nature, while the trigger is semantic. Oliver Messiaen describes his experience, which seems to be ideasthesia, saying, "I see colors when I hear sounds, but I don't see colors with my eyes. I see colors intellectually in my head. I see colors inwardly. This is not imagination, nor is it a physical phenomenon. It's an inward reality." While Messiaen had a good grasp on how his ideasthesia is an inward reality, Scriabin regarded color hearing as a natural phenomenon which merely needed to be quantified to be proven as fact. He thought certain pitches were objectively tied to certain colors, saying, "It can't be personal, there must be a principle, must be unity." Frankly, Scriabin was wrong, but it's still interesting to consider Scriabin's association with color to music to understand his approach to composing music. Scriabin associated each pitch with a color and emotion. The associations aren't exactly for the pitches themselves, but rather for key centers. Scriabin's late-era music evades traditional notions of key centers, but generally speaking, we can consider the lowest bass pitch that a piece starts and ends on as the key center for late-era Scriabin music. Scriabin displayed his color and emotion associations on the circle of fifths, with the more material earthly keys centering on C, and the more spiritual keys on the opposite side around F sharp. The C key center is specifically associated with human will and an intense red color used in pieces like the Poem of Ecstasy. F sharp represents divine creativity and the color violet. This association perhaps explains why Scriabin used F sharp as the key center for so many of his famous works, including Sonatas 3 through 5 and Prometheus. While Scriabin didn't have synesthesia as we define it today, it's still interesting to consider the effect that his personal associations with key centers had on his music. I'm curious if you all can help illuminate how Scriabin's ideasthesia influenced his music. Let me know in the comments, check out my website, join the Discord, and please like, comment, and subscribe.